One of the most relaxing spots at the Peaceful Valley Guest Ranch might be the trout pond. It's a great place for the kids, or a place to unwind at the end of the day, or maybe even practice your casting. After fishing with Jesse on the river, we decided to get a little instruction. Jesse, we had a lot of fun out there today, but we did have some challenging circumstances with all the bushes and trees and things like that. So there's a couple of key casts that people are going to want to know, starting with the roll cast.
It's really important that you understand that you use a roll cast because you've got bushes or obstructions behind you. So you don't want to get the fly line behind you. So it's got to be a two-part cast. So if your line is out, you bring it in until you can see the end of your fly line easily, maybe 10 or 12 feet out there. The angle of the rod is about 1 o'clock. And then as you bring your hand forward, you try not to change that angle, and then it's a little flip at the end. A little flip at the end will give you the roll out.
So no line behind you, and it just goes right out. And I'm getting some pretty good distance too with a good flip.
You can cast 40, 45 feet. And that's way more than we were needing to cast today.
Right. And you showed a little amendment to that too. There's another version.
Right, so there was also a place where we were trying to cast under some bushes. So you can do that same cast, you can do it sidearm. So you bring it back, again it's two parts. You hold the line in part one, and then it's a nice little flip. And that keeps the line horizontal to the water, and you can sneak it right under some bushes. Another nice thing about that cast is it lands so lightly on the water because it's low that if you're fishing to some spooky fish and you're fishing like a 16 or an 18 mayfly, you can lay that on the water nice and smooth. Let's see how you do that. Nice.
Get a good roll on it.
You get a good roll on it. Keep the rod horizontal to the water at all times, and the line will follow, and you can really get down. I've fished in some pretty tricky places where you can do that on your hands and knees, and you can put that in under 2 feet of bushes.
Nice.
And when you need to do the stealth casting.
Now we also ran into some situations where there's a lot of current and it's dragging our fly line, so we needed to do a little mending on it, and you had some techniques for a cast that would help with that.
It's called a reach mend or a reach cast. I think it's more a cast because you're doing the mending while the line is still in the air. And what you do, you can do it off a roll cast, so we'll do that here because we've been working on the roll cast, is that when the line is airborne in front of you, you lay the rod over to the upstream side all the way nearly to the water. That puts the line all upstream of the fly. The fly moves through at a slower pace. You got fast water in here, and it's moving the line forward, but it's leaving the fly at that slower current that's over there.
So a little roll cast.
So it's a roll cast and a reach over. A reach cast.
There you go.
There you go. Reach cast left, and then you got to be able to do a reach cast right.
But that's tricky.
If you're fishing, because you always want to have one available for when whichever way you're fishing, river left or river right.
Right.
Okay. And the other thing that happened to us out there in the same situation, there really wasn't a lot of room to make that reach cast, so I tried to use the curve cast. You just draw a curve with the end of your rod after you cast. You just draw a curve like a C upstream. So while the line is in the air, you draw a curve. Look where this line landed. It's 6 feet to the left of where my line is.
By the time the current drifts that down, you've got a nice drift on the other end with your fly.
Right. And it's just a draw curve. That one's like an 8-footer. You can really make it a big curve, and it depends on where you draw your curve, where it's going to be closer to the fly. If you do it quickly, it's out. If you wait in the curve, it's going to be closer to you. So you can actually place that right in the fast part of the water, wherever it is, and you can do that left and you can do it right.
Well, Jesse, we did have a fun day today, and thanks so much for the tips. I think they can really help people out when they get into some tough circumstances.
Well, thank you. It was really fun fishing with you today.
We had a great time, and thanks for the tips too.
Okay,
we'll go out again.
Let's do it.
All right.
Up next, a look around the guest ranch. And the perfect close to any day with the nightly running of the horses.